I believe we are capable of a lot as Black people. If we look to what our ancestors they went through back in the day, I believe they went through hardship that majority of us we can never endure. The struggle, the suffering, the misery, the condition that they was living, it was not easy for any of them. I'm not saying if I was living in that damn time that I can survive that hardship. I don't know. Time is different, but what they went through, majority of us we can never survive that. But they show us how to be strong. But majority of the things that I speak about is just is like a it's like a some dream. When we're dreaming about something, that dream that you feel like, is this dream real or is not real? Is this dream is a fake? Can I wake up from this dream? Can I wake up from all of this nightmare? I always believe, we have to do something for us so we can be stronger. So work harder, no matter how long it's gonna take. We always have to try to think about let's work harder than you expected. It's not about someone else helping you. When somebody's constantly trying to help you, no matter what, we're gonna try to we always trying to ask for something back. I believe that Africa, we've been we've been vulnerable for so long, and it became normal for us to stay in that struggle. Look at our president in Africa. Majority of our president in Africa, they prefer to sell, to give the land free for small donation or small amount of money. So to them, it's normal to sell your people, your country to the Western, and whatever you're gonna receive is normal. I have something that I always say, something that my mind I always go by all of this. I always think about this constantly. I think about the land of the Africa, the resource. I think about the growth that is in the land of the African. Because Africa, it has so much potential that I believe. Because if you see, Africa was never poor. Africa was never poor. It was made poor. Why I'm saying that, if you look closely, you can see Africa was never poor, but people always trying to make like Africa is poor. I'm gonna give you this. Just think about this. Look at the land of Africa the way it is, and look at the Middle East. It's full of desert where they build the Mecca, Dubai, all them. Look at the land. You tell me, compare them land to the land of the African. You see what is. That's why I'm saying Africa was never poor. Africa was made poor. And the truth behind it is not what you have been told. Because what if everything you learned about Africa was designed to make you believe that Africa was poor? Think about it. A continent with some of the richest resources on earth. Gold, diamond, copper, oil, land full of everything. Land full of everything. Growth. The land of Africa is rich than you ever think about. The land of African. The land is so much rich. So how does a place that rich, a land that is so much rich, a land with so much riches in the world, it got to be called poor? That's why, what do you think about it? You're thinking now, that is not an accident. That was not accident. When everybody they tend to call Africa is poor, it's not an accident. No, never. It was not an accident. It was designed. My God, I'm laughing, but I'm serious about this. For century and century, Africa wasn't seen as weak, For centuries, Africa wasn't seen as weak. Africa was seen as valuable. Not weak, but valuable. And when something is valuable, people don't ignore it. They take it. Our land, our continent, the countries of Africa, the continent, everything, it was taken from us. We might be living, we're living in that continent of Africa. All of us were living in that continent of Africa, but we just there as a statue, puppet, just We're in a playground, but that playground is being owned by other. We struggle to do anything because Africa was taken from us. The resource was extract, system was control, and the narrative were created because controlling land is one thing, but controlling how people think, my friend, that is so powerful. Controlling how people think, that is so powerful. If you can make a continent believe it is behind, it stops questioning why. It stops demanding more. And it starts asking for less. It starts asking for less. And that's majority of us African people. But here's the part no one talks about. Africa is not waking up, but Africa is remembering. Remembering its value, remembering its strength, remembering what it was before the story changed. Because once you change the mindset, you change everything. So the real question is not why is Africa poor? The real question is, why were we told that it is? Wake up, Africa. Wake up, my brothers and sisters. Wake up, black people everywhere. Wake up. Africa was never poor. It was rich long before the world admitted. Poverty is not about what you have. It's about what you keep. Africa produce warfare, but does not keep it. You can take the resource from a land, but that does not make it poor. The people, we are poor, but the land and the continent of the African is not poor. The people, we are poor, but the land, the continent of the Africa is not poor. And it never was. Wake up, wake up. That's the mess for today. The inner struggle within us, black people. Like, subscribe, share. I'll catch y'all to the next one. Peace.